low drag GT, I see. What a beautiful looking car. The Atalanta, now these were a pre-war design. What a stunning car. So this is the special Graber-bodied
V12 manual.
Yeah, Frazer-Nash. Oh my god. Front engine V12 Ferrari nestled over there. And look at this incredible Packard alongside. Wonderful, wonderful setting. The former RAF Bicester airfield. With a very different looking front end on it. The proper old metal reflective plates as well. Opel GT. I'm fairly confident in saying that big lusty straight six engine. Little Fiat Panda 4x4 Sizzly. Oh, look at this sharp suited gentleman down here. Two more Amazon estates. The Bristol 403. Massive supercharger. How appropriate is that in the old fire section building, the early 1970s. Incredibly upgraded VW Beetle. It is a super duper original Ford Model A. Another ACA Seeker. Well, hi folks and welcome to the Old Classic Car channel. Today we are down at Bicester Heritage for the end of year October Sunday Scramble. We haven't made it here as yet this year in 2025, so I'm not quite sure why that happened, but I was determined to fit in this final meeting of the year. What cars will we see here? Well, I do not know, but looking around me there are some real gems. So without further ado, let's crack on and have a look over there. This is one of those fantastic events where 1 minute you'll see a Ford Anglia or a Morris Minor, the next minute a Ferrari 250 short wheelbase. So there's a bit of everything here. So regardless of your interests, you're going to see something interesting in this video. I hope it is a wonderful, wonderful setting. The former RAF Bicester airfield. Yeah, what a treat. Here's a gorgeous Austin 7-box saloon. Stunning little car, early 1930s.
Seeing everyone from the
pair of E-types. There is a theme of resto modding and tuned up classics here today, so there'll be a bit of that going on, I'm sure. Over along here, MSB 30, an immaculate Jaguar S-Type, or the 3.4 or 3.8S as they were sold back in the day. This was an evolution of the Mark II, albeit with independent rear suspension and slightly different coachwork. And on the end over here, a glorious Derby era Bentley from the mid to late 1930s. What a Bobby Dazzler that is. We've only just walked across from the parking area and we've already seen some phenomenal cars. So, 4-door saloon, rear hinged back doors to aid easy entry and exit of the rear passenger compartment. What a beauty. I don't think I've ever seen lamps that shape before. So that's pretty cool to see. The weather is looking stunning. Yesterday it was terrible, but it looks like today we're going to be blessed with fine weather to enjoy this gorgeous array of cars. There's going to be a lot of walking and talking today. This is a huge one-day event. Oh yeah, what a beauty. I love the streamlined Bentley mascot. Holly's off already.
Have a look at the steering wheel, Chris.
Now, many of the main displays are in the area over there to the side of the big hangar that you see there in the distance. That away is the individual entries, the public parking area. So I think I'm going to spend a little bit of time around here because quite often the cars in the individual public parking area start disappearing at around midday-ish. You can hear something coming behind. Yep, so everything from modern supercars, but lots and lots of earlier cars, including this Ferrari over here. That's the Mondial Quattro Valve. Now, unless I'm very much mistaken, there appears to be a bit of an XJS celebration going on. Of course, the XJS was introduced in 1975 at the time. Don't want to get run over by a Herald, that'd be poor form. But yeah, The XJS was brought in 75 V12 to begin with. The option of 6 cylinders came along a little bit later. There's a great little 205 GTI rally prepared on its way in. Right, let's carry on and just have a look at this huge assortment of XJSs. This is in about 1979, so we're about 4 years into production with that one. This one here is much, much later. This is a post-facelift car, and you can see the similarities and indeed the differences between the early and late Jaguar XJSs. Notably, the rear side windows, very different shape on the earlier car, the white car. Rear lights were different as well, so lots and lots of updates on this, the upgraded facelift car. And pretty cool to see these early ones as well. Most and the vast majority of the V12s were autos, but there were a few manuals early on in XJS production. We've got another late one here. We've got an XJS SC from the mid-1980s, so this was sort of before the full convertible version came along. They had this one with the fixed roll bar type thing, a bit like a Triumph Stag actually to look at when the roof is down. A Mini MGC just coming in over there. Classic cars everywhere you look. It's just a wonderful, wonderful event. It's a real mix of the affordable car and also a little bit of exotica and a little bit of the high-end stuff. Doesn't harm from time to time. Right. Yeah, all sorts of XJSs. There's a full convertible there. Another XJSC with the roof partially lowered, as you can see there. Now, when I was talking about the early ones, this is a very early one on an R registration, still with a black panel between the rear lights. So that is a very, very early XJS. Let's have a quick look. Is it one of the rare manuals? It is. This has got a manual box. Now, whether that's been retrofitted or whether this is one of the very few that were equipped with the gearbox that was fitted to some of the Series 3 E-types. They were basically using up old stocks of E-type gearboxes in 75, 1976. A magnificent Bentley just wafting its way in behind me. This is such a cool event. But yeah, that is nice to see. It's got a Guy Salmon supplier registration plate on it. Guy Salmon did, I think they were responsible for a limited run of modified cars that had funny little grills on the front. I think that was the Guy Salmon conversion. But this one looks pretty standard to me. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see a manual early example of the XJS here. Alongside it, there's another couple of convertibles there, pre and post facelift as well. This is the XJ-RS, so this had the 6-litre V12 engine in it. Yeah, if you like your, there's another one there. If you like your XJSs, you are definitely going to want to be here today. XJS HE for high efficiency, allegedly. That was a slightly improved version of the V12 engine just to try and eke out a little bit more economy, because with the best will in the world, they were a little bit thirsty, especially the pre-HE V12s. Yeah, lots and lots of pre and post facelift cars here. This one has a straight 6 in it. Yeah, I've definitely never seen so many XJSs in one place. This is another fairly early example as well on a W plate. So that's pretty cool to see that as well. A Chasseur 310. Now I know a company called Chasseur did a few upgraded XJ40s. I've never seen a Chasseur modified XJS before, so this is a new one on me. A Chasseur 310, not quite sure what we're looking at there. So answers on the postcard please, if you know what this is, what was different about this particular car, please pop a note into the comments. Your feedback, your comments are always really welcome on any of these videos here on the Old Classic Car channel. And we've got another XJSC here. So there aren't too many of these around, but there are a few today, so that's pretty cool. This one in white. But yeah, XJS is everywhere you look. Rightio, there's still cars pulling up into the main interesting car forward parking area over there, so I think we're going to have a bit of a mooch around there. Now, you always get a fascinating assortment of cars here in the forward parking area, mainly for, I'm not quite sure what the year cut-off is, probably sometime in the 1990s, so let's just have a look, see what gems we can spot. This is a bit of an oddball looking car. Is that a Quantum? I think it's a Quantum. These were Ford based. The wheels certainly look like Fiesta, the door handles and maybe even the doors themselves are probably Fiesta. Apologies for any shadows, the sun's quite low in the sky at this time of year. There's a Lotus XL alongside it. Lotus's wedge of the early 1980s, a Porsche here, the 944. Forward control Land Rover. Like I was saying before, the variety of things that you see here. 1 minute you're looking at sporty cars of the 1980s, next minute you're looking at forward control Land Rovers. That's pretty mad.
That looks like 780 Hallwood behind, doesn't it? That is cool.
That is pretty groovy. Lovely GT6 Mark III alongside it, the 2 litre straight 6 manual gearbox, presumably with overdrive. This one's got a Webasto type roof in it, very similar setup to that we've got in our Triumph Herald 1250, and indeed the engine in these, a big straight 6, was an evolution of the Herald engine with just a couple of extra cylinders, of course. Now next to it we've got a Citroen 2CV, lovely car, roof open on this glorious sunny October day. This one called Margot, 46 years old, 435cc, 29 horsepower, 2-cylinder air-cooled engine, and the colour is jaune cédrat. First registered in Nice on the Côte d'Azur, June 1977. There we go. Then it went to Alicante in Spain, and then it came over here and was restored. The current owner bought it back in 2021. Lovely car. You don't see too many with the rectangular lights on either. And next to that, wow, a Mercury, the American Mercury. This one, a 1950 two-door sedan. What a cool looking thing that is. Huge sun visor. It's probably a Fulton sun visor if it's an original American. Let's have a quick look on here. Oh, here we go. I'm not sure if you can see that. It says Fulton on there. The Fulton Sunshield Company in Milwaukee, US of A. So it's the proper thing. There are repro ones around, but that is the real deal. That dashboard, that so reminds me of the old PV Volvo. We used to have the 444. I mean, that was maroon as well. But the dash was so similar, the instruments and stuff were so similar to that. Let's have a quick look around the back, because it's not every day you see one of these here. So this is a 1950 Mercury. It's right-hand drive as well. That must be pretty unusual. Has this come in from another country that drives on the left, or has it always been in the UK? No info in the window, so I'm not quite sure, but again, if you know the backstory to this one, please let me know. It may have come in from South Africa or possibly even Australia. Merc 190E here, grey example, still with the original plastic wheel trims on it, and it has a tow bar. Good car, that would last forever with just a bit of basic maintenance. And next to that, I'm assuming this is a Westfield. If it is a Westfield, it's a replica of the old Lotus 11. This one on a K registration. That's beautifully turned out little car. Oh, now this is one of my favourites. It's a Saab 900 Turbo 16S, and it's a flat fronted one. I do like the flat front turbo. Really nice. In fact, I was only talking about these on the way up here to Bicester this morning, saying that I quite like the idea of a flat front Saab Turbo 16S. And what do I see before me but exactly one of those. This was a bit of a poster car for me in the early mid 1980s. 3-door 16 valve, the very distinctive 3-spoke wheels on these, But yeah, 16 valve, about 175 brake horsepower. These were in standard trim compared to the 145 of the 8 valve turbos. I do like the idea of having one of these one day. This one's got the optional rear wiper on it as well. Big wing, but yeah, the wiper I don't think was standard fit. It's nice to see a flat fronted one. Most of the ones you see have got the slopier front by now. Right, let's carry on. We've got a Datsun Z car, either 240 or a 260Z. I can never tell which, but either way, be a stunning car and a big straight six Nissan engine under the bonnet. These are lovely looking cars. I think I've always liked these, even since they were current back in the 1970s. I've always thought these were a good looking car. This is the 240Z. I do remember the rear reverse lights were in a slightly different position, I think, on the 260Z, but the difference is I think we're fairly cosmetic. It's one handsome looking car, I think. It's beautiful shape, big wraparound curved screen. This lovely sort of kick here as well. The shape of the side windows, apologies for my reflection. What a great looking thing. Lots and lots of engine under there, and we approve of that. And I approve of this, having had a few Amazons over the years. This glorious 1966 Volvo 122S, so that would be twin carb car. It's 1966 on a D, so that'll probably be the 1.8 litre. It's got the slightly earlier style of grills on it compared to your later Volvo 120s. Such a practical, usable car that is. I've never had an estate. I've had a few saloons, the 2 and the 4 doors, but I've never had one of these wagons. Maybe one day I'll tick that off the list. But yeah, super practical. I am a bit partial to a classic estate car. And the Amazons, well, they're great. Plus they've got the added benefit you can still get pretty much all the parts that you'd ever need for it to keep it on the road. A few extra gauges in there, but that's lovely. Another 944 alongside it. And what do we have here? A 3 Series BMW, the Alpina B6 with a 2.8 litre straight 6. So this is the, which series is this? The E23 era of BMW 3 Series. This is the one before the E30, which looked kind of similar but was a bit more squared off, and we've seen a couple of those as we were driving in this morning. But this is the E21, I tell a lie, it's the E21. I had to think there for a minute. The E23 was the first of the 7 Series. That's pretty groovy with the Alpina stripes on it. Yeah, lovely car. E28 M5 alongside. That's pretty tasty car. What colour is that? Is it Cinnabar red? I used to have a 535i in this colour. M5 right hand drive, yeah, Cinnabar red, there we go. That is pretty cool. One of 184 UK market cars sold here, so pretty thin on the ground even when they were new. They've always been a bit of a special car, the E28 5 Series M5. What was the power output of these? About 286, something in that kind of region, from the big 3.5 litre straight 6 under the bonnet. Very handsome car. Great little midget now. Can hear some TVRs behind me. So this is a fairly early midget with the lift out side screens. They hadn't yet moved to wind up windows and outside door handles. So there's quite a few nods back to the Sprite Mark 1 that came before, which also had door handles that you had to reach inside for, which are down, where are they? Down there we go. So you'd have to lift the side screens out, whereas later cars you could wind them up. That's made life a bit easier, I guess. Bonny little Mini alongside. Porsche 911 Targa. Golf GTI, the VW Golf GTI Mark II, that one is up for sale. And staying with VWs, we have a glorious Carmen Gear. It says California on the plate, so I'm assuming that's where it's coming from. Fantastic colour, rear engine, VW powered, but just a really eye-catching car. Lovely car indeed. Citroen CX, VW Polo here, another Z car. This is the 260Z, so we've seen the 240 already. This was the slightly later car, but not much later. I think this is a 240 alongside. Let's just have a look at the back of them just to remind myself about these reversing lights. So this is a 260 as well, but yeah, 260, the reverse lights were sort of separate on their own there. On the earlier car it was sort of included in the main lamp cluster. A 205 here with GTI 1.6 wheels on it. The Rover 800 Coupe. What's this? A little Daihatsu van, registered 2004. Bit like a Honda Acti sort of size, tiny little van. But great to see that here. Got a Lancia Fulvia, an import spec with the Italian positioning of the headlights. As I've talked before, on the UK market cars the outer headlights were raised up a little bit, but this is an import. It's also left-hand drive. That one is up for sale as well. Next to the glorious Fulvia we've got the VW Thing, which is quite the eye-catching car based on a Beetle. What do we have here then? So this is a Sprite with a very different looking front end on it. That bonnet looks like nothing else I've ever seen on one of these. 1991 Pirelli Classic Rally. Yep, so I've not seen one of those. I'm assuming that's a fiberglass front on it. Wow, now if I could have any post-war Bentley, it would probably be one of these. I just think these look glorious. These four-door saloons, absolutely beautiful styling on those. What a car that is. Isn't that just... I do find myself drawn towards big four-door limousine type cars, and that really is very Swiss indeed. Interesting, it's left-hand drive, so it's I wonder if it's spent time maybe in the south of France or something like that. It's got a Becker Grand Prix radio in it. But yeah, very, very Swiss bit of kit that is. Got a VW Corrado alongside, Porsche 911, a bit of a rat rod VW Passat on the end here from about 1982 or 1983. So I think what we'll do, I mean, the field over there is also filling up nicely with cars, but we'll try and complete this side first, otherwise I might miss something. Okay, let's carry on with row 2, headed up by this somewhat lowered VW Beetle on Porsche wheels, the Fuchs wheels, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a Beetle of more standard ride height alongside it, a little bit later this one as well, but it hasn't got the curvy windscreen. That one looks super duper original. This one's got a bit of a Baja look. A pretty hefty set of wheels on the back. By gum, the wheel and tyres combo is pretty wild. In fact, everything about it is pretty wild. Pretty groovy exhaust setup, so it all channels into this pipe here, and then this flips up and down as and when you rev it. That's pretty neat. Two more dubs alongside, a VW 1300 here from about 71, similarly aged orange car. Look at the roof rack. Oof. I'm a bit of a sucker for a period roof rack, and that really is a belter. Is this a one-off made for it, or was this a commercially available? Perhaps someone is making these today, possibly in the States where these have a huge following. Yeah, it looks really great. I love the wooden slats and the chrome sides to it. It really fits very, very nicely indeed. Yeah, pretty cool to see that lineup of air-cooled V-dubs here. MGB GT alongside a rubber bumper car on the mini light wheels, just like the ones on Dad's car. It's got the Webasto roof in it as well, so yeah, perfect for a day like this. It's quite breezy. I hope you can hear me alright. It's quite breezy, but we are on an old former airfield. Well, it's still used as an airfield, so they're always going to be breezy. This is a 4.2 Series 2 E-Type, a fixed head coupe. Nice to see one with a bit of road grime on it, which suggests it's used and driven properly. Yep, so this is a fairly early Series 2. Austin Healey alongside. It's a 3000 Mark III, I think. With the wind-up windows, 2 lamps under the front. Yeah, it is the 3000 Mark III. These make a glorious sound. Harley's just released, at the time of recording, he's just released a video where he got to have a ride and a good chat with the owner of a 3000 Mark I, and that really did sound the bee's knees. Right, we'll carry on along here. We are walking into the sun, which is less than ideal, but never mind. Got a Ford Sierra Cosworth here. The Merc 190 SL next to it, a very glamorous car. I could just imagine driving that round Saint-Tropez or Monaco. And the interiors in these are always spectacular. There we go, look at that. Beautiful. Presumably this car, yeah, lovely looking car. Yeah, the 190 SL. I do like this style of plates. You don't see those around all that often, but they were period correct. Porsche 911S, a Targa alongside it. An immaculate 1302S Beetle. Wow, that is super clean. What a great colour as well, and those alloy wheels really do set it off a treat. That's one of the cleanest looking Beetles I've seen in a while. And it's got a factory steel sliding sunroof. Who'd have thought the people's car would end up with that as an option? A super little split window V-dub here, a little camper. Another 911 Targa. There's a few of those here today. So what's it say here? It's a VW microbus, wing door left. Built 21st December 1955. Left the factory on the 22nd of December 1955. That's pretty groovy. Yep, 911 Targa alongside. Quite a tasty looking E-Type alongside with those Dunlop wheels, which just look wonderful. Those wheels very similar to those fitted to the lightweight racing E-Types, but they really do suit these cars a treat. Fixed head coupe, manual box, lovely colour, very similar to the Acuria Cos racing cars, C-Types and D-Types of the 1950s. The Series 2 has the bigger backlights compared to the Series 1. This is the Alfa Romeo 1750. Beautiful car on those, again, period alloy wheels as well. Don't see too many in green actually. More often than not you see these in bright red. But it's nice to see one in BRG. Got a Series 2 Land Rover here. They didn't make these for very long. They were replaced shortly afterwards by the 2A, which has like a curvier panel here. But when you see the flat, slopey panel, that tells you that it's a Series 2. Another E21 3 Series Beamer here. I wonder if we've got any clues on the back as to which engine this is. In those days, the badge used to tell you. So this is a 323i, so I for injection, 2.3 for the 2.3. And if you were in any doubt, it's got this aftermarket reflective panel between the backlights telling you that this is a 323i. And it still has the old supplying dealer sticker. Not a million miles away from where we're based in Chester, Charles Clark Group. That's very neat. Here we've got a foreign, I think German registered Porsche here, complete with roll cage in the back, so that looks like it means business. Right hand drive. Well, it is a UK reg, isn't it? That's just the German style plate That'll teach me to look in a bit closer. Right, more 911 action there. We've got a 3 Series Cabriolet. This is an E36 Cabriolet, possibly an M3. Ford Sierra XR4i. We do occasionally see one of those at some of the meetings a bit closer to base. With a 911 there, beautiful, lovely looking 911 in black here. And these ones with the sort of polished stainless window surrounds really do look nice. So black paintwork and these bright silver highlights do look very, very good indeed. I can hear some old aeroplane action somewhere, but I can't see it, but I'll keep my eyes open for that. Another Alfa in green, this is a GT 1300, the Alfa Romeo Junior. Left-hand drive, this one. Great looking little car. Single headlamps on these. The GTVs have the twin headlights per side. Got a 911 Carrera. Lovely looking car, that one. And a great mini pickup on the period Dunlop alloy wheels. Same wheels as my uncle had on his GTM back in the 1970s. This is a very bonny looking little car. We passed a Mini on the M40 as we were heading down here. This is a Shropshire registered car as well, so maybe this has come from our neck of the woods, at least originally, if not now. But AW, that's a Shropshire registration. It's good to see the proper old metal reflective plates as well. Lots of cars of this age have been fitted with silver and black plates, but they were never sold like that when they were new, and to be honest, I'm not that keen on them on cars of that era. Got a 911 Cabriolet here with silver and black plates. 3 Series here, so this is the E30 era of BMW 3 Series. That replaced the E21. These early 911s do look the part, I think. You can keep your modern 911s, but these early ones, I think, really, they're just much smaller, tautier looking. And this one with these big arches and a huge set of wheels and tyres does look very, very cool indeed. What's the little sticker? Campagnolo. Wow. Yeah. Those are very, very tasty wheels indeed. Slightly narrow, same pattern but narrower on the front. Yeah, 911s, sort of understated 911s really can look pretty special. And that, I think, falls into that category. VW camper here, one of the bay window V-dubs with its roof raised for a bit of added headroom. This has got all the bells and whistles on this one. Looks like Porsche seating. Auto wears door mirrors, that's quite neat. It's a left hooker, so I'm guessing this is coming from the States at some point. It's got the fold down sort of awning type thing on the side. Sliding side door to clamber in and out. It is slightly open, so let's have a quick peer inside. All very agreeable. I can see why these old campers have the following that they do. Neat looking thing, the Westphalia. Right, let's carry on. What's this? A bit of JDM action here, I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at there. A much earlier V-dub camper, the split window, this one from 1967. I love how you can open the screens on these, and there's a little one just inside there. What a lovely thing. Yep, don't worry, I will be getting over into the main display area over there. But I wanted to make sure, because sometimes I come to this event and by the time I come out here half the cars have left. And there's always such an amazing variety of cars out here. And what do we have here but a DB5? It is a pretty swanky car. I think the James Bond thing has been overdone just a little bit, but there's no getting away from the fact these are beautiful. Beautiful looking cars. Whether it's better than an E-Type, I'm not quite sure. The jury seems to be a little bit out on that, and these are way more expensive than an E-Type, but they are just wonderful, wonderful looking things. So I don't think my pockets are quite deep enough for one of those. Next to it though, we've got a 64 Triumph TR4, electric fan whirring away. And on the end here, a magnificent Aston Martin V8. Is this a Vantage? probably is. It is indeed. What a great looking car in that metallic green. Proper British bruiser, that one. Fixed head Lotus Elan just coming in, followed by quite a high riding Spridget, the MG Midget there. Right, 944 on the end. Another 9. Where are all these 911 Targas coming from? I don't know. Next to the Porsche, we've got another 3 Series, another Alpina version of the E21 3 Series. This is a C1, a 2.3 litre engine. Pretty cool. We've got an E30 Cabriolet alongside. Don't want to get in someone's photograph. There we go. Series 1 E-Type fixed head coupe in a magnificent Austin 6. Is this a... No, they did all sorts of these. This could be a York, possibly. Late 1930s, probably 38, that kind of age. It is for sale as well. Huge car, very commodious. Perfect for the pre-war car lover with the big family or a big lunchbox, because you've got all this space in the back. By gum. And there aren't too many of these around now. Lots of the smaller Austins have been preserved, the 7s, the Rubies and the 10s, etc. But these larger cars, not so much. They're quite big, so they didn't always fit in people's garages, and as a result lots of them did live outside. We've got a TVR 350i, one of Blackpool's finest there, the Wedge TVR. We passed an 02 Series Beamer on the way down here on the motorway, which looked pretty cool. It wasn't this one, but that looks pretty special. The Alpina alloy wheels, and I love these lamps with the covers on, these Marshall lamps. What a sharp looking car that is. Bit of info in the window. I can hear mighty... Let's have a look. There's an Aston burbling its way in. Pretty cool. So, right, where were we? 2002 TII 1973, but it says 1971 round rear light model in Colorado orange, 118 miles an hour. Lots and lots of engine mods on this one, so if you want to have a bit of a read up, just pause the video about now. Yeah, different camshaft, overhead, larger valves, 150 brake horsepower, estimated 5-speed Getrag manual gearbox on this one, so lots of mods. But from the outside it looks fairly standard. It's a great looking car, really big glass house on these as well. We were following and talking about this. We were following this one down the motorway just an hour or so back. And the depth of the windows relative to the depth of the body is really unusual, but as a result the view out would be perfect. Right, we've got an MGB with a huge stainless exhaust sticking out the back. Distinctively coloured MX-5 Mark 1 here with many modifications. Citroen GSA alongside it. You don't see those all that often now. Porsche 928, the front engine V8 powered Porsche 924 alongside. Is that the front bit off a turbo with those extra slatted sort of intake bits? Could be. Got a much lowered Mark II Golf there. I'll try and speed up a little bit. We've got a slopey headlight, 6 volt V-dub Beetle here. That's nice to see. Slightly wider steelies on the back, but other than that it looks pretty standard, and it's really cool to see. I've got a DB6 here, so we're looking at a DB5 just a minute ago, and this is the replacement. I think it's slightly longer, and compared to the DB5 they have this sort of cam tail with a sort of built-in little lip. It's a very different look, especially from the back. 944 here, Ferrari. Next to the Porsche there's this incredible Saab 95. It's been modified into, well, the pickup version. This one we have seen here before. I saw this one a year or so back, and it's pretty cool. So this started out as a long nose 95 estate, and it's been cut down and modified into this wonderful pickup. And what they've done is they've cut the roof. So this is the rear bit of the estate car body, and it's been brought, originally it would have been over here, and that's been used to finish off the back of the cab, and that's been done really, really neatly. You'd think that was a factory car, to be honest, to look at it. It's been done that well. It's got LED headlamps, but yeah, it's a pretty cool looking thing. I do like that a lot. Right, let's carry on looking here. I'll try and feature Aston Martin V8, as always on the Old Classic Car channel. I'll try and feature a little bit of everything, but I'll always sort of prioritise the slightly older cars. There are lots and lots of modern sports cars and supercars, a whole flotilla of Porsches over there. But as the channel is mainly about old cars, that's mainly what I'll be focusing on. We've got a Lancia Beta here. Mark II Golf 5-door, Ford Escort RS Turbo, one of the Series 2 cars. 911, or it could be a 912 even. Let's just have a look, see if the badging gives us any clue. It's a 911S. Again, these early ones are very sharp looking cars, I think. What do we have over here? So this is a Zagato-bodied Alfa, I think. Yes, there's the Zagato badge on the side. Now, which Alfa is this based on? 1600 Z for Zagato of Milan. That's a pretty wild looking thing. Is it normal for this to be up? Maybe that's just for a spot of added ventilation. I wonder if that's what it's for. I love these curved side windows that sort of curve around and wrap around. Very, very nice. It's one of the sort of cars that you have to keep looking at, and the more you look at it, the more interesting details you spot. Look at the clap hand wipers. So this one sort of goes like that, and the other one is sort of doing this kind of thing. That's pretty nifty. So presumably this has been brought in from Italy at some point in time. Headlights behind these Perspex covers. I've never seen that before. I've never seen one of these before. Concours of Elegance at Hampton Court. Alongside the wedges Zagato Alpha, we have this beautifully swoopy Opel GT. I'm fairly confident in saying that I don't think these were ever sold here in the UK, but very, very stylish little cars these are. And these have rotating headlamps, so they're not pop-ups, the conventional sort of pop-ups. I think these ones sort of rotate like that, or that way. I'm not quite sure which way around, but pretty neat car. Very, very swoopy, a bit like a baby Corvette almost. But lovely, lovely shape to it. High back, bucket seats. Lovely, lovely lines to it. Oh, super looking car. So two really, really unusual coupes, but this Zagato, well, that is a proper rarity. This Opel is rare enough, but the Alpha, wow, that's off the scale rare. Lovely little Mini Cooper in black here. Back to coupes, the Triumph GT6 Mark III, and there's a Mark II alongside. This is my favourite era of GT6. This was contemporary of the Mark III Spitfire, but with a straight six. I love the bonnet louvers, which was unique, I think, to the Mark II, having louvers on the top and indeed on the side of the wings just there. All the Mark IIs had the Rotoflex rear suspension, which was a bit fiddly to work on, but it did improve the handling compared to the earlier swing axle cars. The Mark III came along to replace it, which was a reskin of the Mark II. The early Mark IIIs also had the Rotoflex rear suspension, but maybe it was a bit complicated or a bit expensive, so they actually changed it to a simpler swing axle rear suspension on the later Mark IIIs, which apparently were reasonably effective as well and much less aggro to work on. But if I was going to buy a GT6, it'd be one of these, the Mark II, because I think they are super looking little cars. And on the end here, well, now what do we have here? It's on a C registration, 1965. Is it a Cobra? Is it a replica? It's got an AC Owners Club badge. It must be the bane of the life of anyone who's got a genuine AC Cobra. People wondering, oh, I wonder if it's a real one or not. But there are so many not real ones around. But look at that lovely badge there. And the Rally International des Alpes. That's a beautiful badge, that is. AC Owners Club badge. Oh, lovely looking car.
Here. And then it will accelerate. If you can, as a passenger, if you can grab that node while it's accelerating.
Heading up the next row, we have a Ferrari. Is this a 348? I'm not very well up on my. That's a Mondial. Quattro Valvol. I told you I wasn't very good at Ferraris. Right, Golf alongside. Nissan 200 SX, slightly lowered. Hillman Avenger. Is this the Avenger Tiger? Looks a bit like it. Most of them are a lighter orange, yellowy orange, but this, yeah, it's the Hillman Avenger Tiger, the hot Avenger of the 1970s. Got the groovy satin black bonnet, these racy mirrors. Yeah, pretty rare car. Look, there you go, the Avenger Tiger. A great rear wing as well. So 1970s. We even have a sticker for the old livery British Airways Concorde, which, I mean, that entered service in about 1975, I think. First flew in 69. But that's nice to see the early livery Concorde in the back window. And this one is protected by an electronic security system. That'll send a shiver down the spines of any tea leaves in the area, I'm sure. Yeah, what a beauty, what a great car that is. Bit of conversion info there if you need to convert gallons into these newfangled litres. Oh, pretty groovy car, that one. This is what's so cool about being here. There are just so many cars that you rarely see elsewhere. It's a really good turnout of Porsches, another 928 there. E30 M3. Wow. That's a pretty special looking car. The 5 Series here, E28. Nice wheels. So do we have any clues as to which engine is in this one? It's got rear headrests. It's a 520i. So the 2 litre straight-six splitty V-dub here. There's a wonderful Aston. Let's keep going. A couple more 911s.
Under my seat on the boat.
The Rally Pep 205. Mini Ferrari. Series 1 E-Type 2+2. So that's a late Series 1.5. So you can tell it's a Series 1 or 1.5 because it's got the slim indicators above the bumper, but it's missing the glass covers over the headlights, so that tells you it's a late 1.5. It's got the 2+2 body, Mark 1 GTI there, the Bentley Arnage, I do like those. There's Peugeot 405 just driving in, followed by a 309. 3-door Golf GTI there. Another lovely early 911. You have to be a bit careful when you say early 911 because quite a few of the later cars have been resto modded to make them look like earlier cars, and people have put private registrations to make them look older, so I have to be a little bit cautious. But yeah, it's a great looking car regardless. And look at this little Honda 1985 or 6. So which one is this? Is this the original? Oh, it's the Shuttle. Oh, of course. course, I remember now. I saw this one driving in the distance. Very, very rare car, but how practical is that? You've got the big lift-up tailgate, 4 big long doors, nice and easy to clamber in and out of. Huge big windows, so nice and easy to park. Plenty of room, quite a high roof line. So super practical if you fold those rear seats down. Yeah, what a great car. Yeah. In terms of cars and sort of regular transport, they don't really get any better than that, do they? Because that's got everything you need, as practical as you like. Probably pretty reliable as well, being a Honda. And yeah, everything's really improved since then. I'm not so sure. Right, 944, lovely Opel Manta, one of the A-type Opel Mantas. Very handsome looking car. So this was probably a contemporary of that Opel GT that we were looking at. Yeah, Opel Manta. Cool looking thing, especially with those circular backlights. They look pretty racy, and got the vinyl roof and the full length sunroof as well. Ross style wheels. Sporty steering wheel. Yeah. Super looking car. Got a 124 Merc Estate. Had a few of those, and look at this very original Toyota Corolla next to it. Wow, this is a proper time warp job, this one. I wonder where this has been all its life. Super duper rare. Got a Series 3 Landy and a Beamer just driving in, an E30. But where's this Corolla been all this time? What a rarity, especially with these old tin hubcaps on it still. Yeah. It's pretty wild. It's very similar to Harvest Gold, very, very similar colour to Dad's MGB. An extremely faded RAC badge. It looks like it's probably been on there since new, the original metal plates. Wow. Isn't that amazing? This sort of thing used to be everywhere. Look at that. The interior is actually pretty good. Little Toyota Corolla. So what's the year on that? It's on a K. So it's like about 71, 72 maybe. But, yeah. Isn't that amazing? What a survivor. Okay, we carry on down this road. There's a TR7 drophead just pulling in, and the Sunbeam Rapier. The 5 Series here, a 1984 MGC Roadster, a big lusty straight 6 engine, 4-cylinder engine under the bonnet of this B. Another 944. They're quite well represented here today. Series 3 E-Type Roadster. So the Series 3s all had the V12 engine, the 5.3 litre V12. Some were manual, some were autos. This one's been fitted with a leaper at some point. Ferrari and MGB Roadster on the end here. Another E30 era BMW M3 just purring its way in. 4-cylinder engine in those, quite souped up, whereas the 320i and the 325i actually had the 6-cylinder engine. The M3 had the 4-pot, albeit very, very uprated. Okay, let's have a look along this row. We've got a Merc Coupe. Ooh, look at that BMW 8 Series, either an 840 or an 850. The 40 had the V8, the 850 was the V12. Look at this Merc here. So this is a coupe version of the W114 or 5. They were very, very similar looking cars. Been lowered a bit, presumably on air suspension. Ford Capri, first one of those I've seen here today. That's a laser edition. Left-hand drive Beetle. Definitely not the first Beetle I've seen today. And it seems appropriate while I'm stood behind this Merc Coupe to admire this late 60s S-Class Mercedes here. Very handsome looking motor car, that one. Okay, back to this row and next to the Merc, which has these clap hand wipers. We've got the Rover P5B Coupe. It's a big 4-door, 3.5 litre coupe. Lovely car. I can just imagine the smell in there. Rovers have a very distinctive smell. Maybe it's something to do with the leather treatment perhaps when they were new, but open the door of that and it would smell, I'm sure, just like the old P5B saloon that I used to run. Great cars. The 924 here. Make that two 924s. A couple of 911s. This brown is left-hand drive. Aston Martin DB7, based on the XJS underpinnings. And we have another Porsche here. Those lovely little bib spoilers on the back. And that's just the first part of the public general parking area for any interesting older cars. So I think the thing to do now is to cut across past this Citroen GSA, a left-hand drive Citroen GSA no less, and go and check out the further field of random car parking. See what there is. Bonnets off. This Mark II Golf. Pretty juicy set of Webers on there. Right, but we will carry on. See what we can see over this way. But yeah, it's a bit of everything here. 4x4s, sporty coupes of the 1970s. Quite a few Jaguars. Porsches are well represented as always. Lots of VWs as well. Right. We're on the next parking area of the E34 5 Series, Alpina version of the E28 5 Series, the E46, the Alfa Romeo 164. So this was as a result of a collaboration with Saab, Fiat and Lancia, and they came up with the Type 4 project, where they basically developed between them a common structure and then went away and finished them off with their own front and rear end styling, interiors, running gear and so on. So that was the Type 4, and this is the Alfa 164, which was Alfa's version of Saab. Came up with the 9000, and if you look at the centre section of the Saab 9000 you'll see it looks very similar to that. Fiat had the Chroma, Lancia had the Thema or the Tamer. Apologies for my pronunciation. Right, I'll keep going up here. We've got a 3.5 litre V8 Rover P6. Yes, it's very, very breezy here today. Great little three-wheel Reliant. It's always a bit of a special place to come here, because back in the early years of the Second World War, my granddad was based here when I think he was probably flying in Blenheims at the time. So he would have been here. So it's always a place I look forward to visiting, this one. Look at this super early Mini Metro. Wow. Henleys of High Wycombe number plate on it. A 1981 tax disc. Well, this is a pretty basic Metro, not even a passenger door mirror on it. No head restraints either. So I'm guessing this will just have the 4-speed, 4-speed manual box plus reverse. Yeah, Austin Mini Metro. Doesn't even have a rear wash wipe, but you got the reminder that you didn't buy the posh one with the rear wash wipes. Every time you wash your car and you see these, that's a reminder that you bought the base model and not the slightly plusher version. It's got the Metro mud flaps on it. That's good to see. What a super little car. Yeah. I remember Mum had a Metro for a while. The Stage 2 MG engine. I think it was the Van den Plas version. But by the time it came to us, it had the pepper pot wheels off an MG Metro on it and an uprated MG engine in it. It's incredible condition, that is. Next to that, ooh, lovely, one of my favourite saloons of the 1950s, the MG Magnet. Lovely car. It's got the RAC Motorsport members badge on the grille. You don't see too many of those badges around. I've got one of those on the front of Big Dodge. What a super looking car that is. The old Magnet. Very, very handsome. B series engine, these 1489cc and twin carbs. Makes for a very, very usable car. Quite a few of them are being upgraded to MGB running gear. So that would be the 1800cc version of the same engine. Quite often with the overdrive box as well. Got another E34 5 series. It looks very original. Got a somewhat lowered 6 series, probably a 635 CSI from 1984. Porsche 968. This, wow, this is a Matra. Is this the Matra D-Jet or Jet, or is it the slightly earlier? I think it's a slightly earlier car. I could be wrong. Certainly a Matra. Look at this really groovy hubcaps on there. Look at those. I like those. What a great shape. Super wraparound screen. Reminds me a bit of the old Lancia Stratos. And the super wraparound rear window as well. Yeah, it is the Jet or Jet or... Yes, I was right. Yeah, it's on a 66 registration. What an incredible looking little thing. Wow. That really is a neat little thing, that is. Okay, Morris Minor, I'm slightly more familiar territory with that one, the Moggy 1000 from late 67 or 68. We've got a 900 Turbo Carlson edition here. So named after Eric Carlson, who regularly rallied Saab 96s and such like back in the 1960s, including the little bullnose two-stroke cars. So that Saab came up with the Carlson edition in recognition of Eric Carlson's rallying activities in Saabs over the years. There was also the 9000 Carlson. Eric Carlson was actually married to Sterling Moss's sister, Pat Motts Carlson. Right, I'll carry on here past a very clean little 205. 3 Series here, E36, Nissan 300ZX. What else have we got up here? Quite a few Porsches, and amongst them we have a VW Scirocco, the Mark II. Okay, we are getting further and further away from the main hangars, but I'll head back that way, but not before checking out this. This is a Jaguar XJR, so this is a supercharged version of our V8 XJ. It's a Jag S-Type alongside Toyota MR2 Mark I. A lovely Bristol over here, and on the end, Aston Martin V8. Right here, let's carry on down past the lovely Bristol. Another XJS pulling in. XJS Cabriolet. There was a waft of warmth from the Bristol as I walked past the engine bay. Right, little Mini here. Very sharp looking P6 here on some later wheels. Bright red Rover P6, 3.5 litre manual box, so this could be the 35S. It's got a 5-speed box in it, so maybe it's been retrofitted. Yeah, it's just badged up as a V8, so I'm guessing this probably started out as an auto and it's been fitted with a 5-speed box at some point in time, making for a very usable car indeed. We've got Austin Healey here. Try not to get in someone's photograph. Let's go around this way. It's got the louvered bonnet. So which one is this? Let's cheat and have a look at the badge. It's the 100M. Now the 100M did have the louvered bonnet, but quite a few other Austin Healey 100s have been retrofitted with a louvered bonnet. Some cars were sold with all these extra tweaks and bells and whistles as standard. Others were fitted by supplying dealers. It looks pretty purposeful, no bumpers on this, and that really looks great, I think. Mark 1 MX-5, another Mark 3 GT6, this one in quite an unusual sort of gunmetal grey metallic, which is not a factory colour, but it really does suit it a treat. This has got the wide, deep 5.5J wheels on it, so Triumph pattern, but these wheels were originally made for Formula Ford racing cars, but they had the same stud pattern as the Herald-based cars, Spitfires, GT6s, Vitesses, etc. So you could fit these wheels. I used to have a set of these on my 2.5 litre Spitfire And they really do look the part. They look Triumph, but just a little bit wider, a little bit more purposeful, and really suit it. And here we've got a left-hand drive Spitfire 1500. So is this an American market car, perhaps? Could be. It's got the extra marker lights on the side. The position of these, and this has got, it's got the British number plate lights set in there, but it's also got these American spec lights, and they're positioned for a narrow plate, which makes me think this maybe came in from the US of A originally. Bit of revving going on over there. This is the style of Spitfire badge that was fitted to the American market cars, so I'm guessing that's what we're looking at here. Pretty unusual that someone actually shipped one of these back from the States, because there's plenty of them over here as well, but so many cars have got really, really interesting histories, and it'd be great to know where this one's been during its life. So that's got the just under 1500cc engine in it. Got a Volvo 480 ES there, Nissan Micra slightly lowered with the beaded seat covers. Who remembers those? Roof bars as well, and the pop-up glass sunroof. So all the modern conveniences for whoever bought this one back in the day. It's on an H registration. Presumably that's the original supplying dealer, Herds Motor Group. And we are back to mini base cars. This, the Riley Elf Mark III. So this one's got the wind-up windows of the Mark III onwards minis, somewhat plusher than the Mini, and it's got the added bonus of the elongated tail. Got a VW Type 3 here. I think they call these estate versions the square backs. I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying that. RACV. Is that Victoria? Wow, right-hand drive. That's pretty neat. VW automatic Type 3. The engine in the back, just like a Beetle, but looks a bit more conventional when compared to a Beetle. This one looks very, very original. All the louvers in the rear side panel here tell us that there is an engine hiding away under the back here. Very, very 1970s colour. What does it say here? It's an old tax disc for Victoria. Yep. Definitely neat to see that one here today. Right, let's carry on. Got Peugeot 306, Lancia Fulvia. This is one of the UK market cars. I was talking about the other Fulvia before, and this has got the raised headlights, slightly raised compared to the inner lights to comply with UK lighting regs in the 1970s. 944 Cabriolet. Now, I think we followed this one in, although it turned off and came in a different way. This is the Daimler 2.5 litre, the V8 powered car. This one from late 67, early 68, going off the F registration. So this was the Daimlerized version of the Jaguar Mark II. Looks pretty original. It did look nice following this one down the dual carriageway from the motorway. Looks like it gets around a bit as well. September 25, paddock pass for the Spa 6 hours. Yeah, definitely gets used, this one. Pretty tasty shade of green. Yep, the Daimler V8. I always thought one of these, but with a larger Daimler V, the 4.5 litre from the Majestic Major, would be a bit of a giggle. I wonder if it would fit in. Maybe, maybe not. Right, let's carry on along here. It's a manual Daimler. Some of the cars were called V8 250s, others were the 2.5 litre. I think they changed it at some point. Got a bit of coolant here, so maybe it's getting a little bit warm on the way in. There's a bit of coolant there as well. That one's wiping off because coolant and paintwork don't always get on too well. Nice looking car. What do we have here? A little Mazda. Now, which model is this? 323. I promise I haven't had a look. Yes, the Mazda 323 with a 24 Hours of Le Mans 1994 sticker in the back window. Mazda 323. Again, one of those sort of cars that have all but disappeared now. It's pretty cool to see this one soldiering on still. Presumably this one's had a fairly quiet life to have survived all this length of time. So what's that, 1987-ish? So getting on for 40 years old now. Right, a very sharp looking Mark II Golf there. We've got a 3 Series Cabriolet based on the E30, a very sharp looking car. And what is this? Is this a genuine Ferrari 250 GT short wheelbase? I like the 250 registration on it. Is this a real one or not? I don't know. If it's a tribute car, it's certainly pretty well done. Sometimes the giveaway is the Z3 windscreen, but this one is not like that. It's got Barani wheels on it. Of course, in the old days it was quite handy because you'd have a tax disc in the window and that would tell you what the make of car was. So what is this? Is this the real deal, or is it a very convincing looky-likey? Don't know, I might have to look up the registration number of that one and just see what it is we're looking at. But if this is a looky-likey, it's been done exceptionally well. Love the old Marshall lamps on the front. But yeah, you used to be able to look at the tax disc and that would tell you what you were looking at. Tyneside toughened glass. So it's got British glass in it. Again, whatever it is, it's a super looking car. Right, let's carry along. 3 Series, looks like it's been used for a bit of drifting. Another E-Class Merc Estate, the 124. Go down here. Mercedes-Benz SL, one of the R109s, got a BMW Z3 with factory hardtop. Another Jaguar E-Type, this time a Roadster 4.2. Perfect for a sunny day like this. We've got an E39 5 Series. And we go past the 924, which it says supercharged. Nissan Skyline GTR, and this is a car we were about 2 cars behind this when we were pulling in earlier on. 3 litre CSI version of the BMW E9 Coupe, and that's one of my favourite cars from the 1970s, that shape. Got a bit of Healy, Austin Healy on manoeuvres over there, a 64 registration car. Where was I? Oh yes, E9 BMWs. Great looking car. Manual box in this one. So stylish, I think. Even a reasonable amount of space in the back. So this was sort of contemporary of even like the XJ Coupe of the mid 1970s. These will be replaced by the 6 Series eventually, but I love the sharp nose front on these cars. Really good looking cars. Pillarless design as well, so wind down both sets of side windows and you've got this lovely airy cabin. Can we take it that this one is known as Kermit, perhaps? What a belter that is. Oh, MG Midget 1500, Citroen 2CV on the end here. Another wonderful MG Magnette, this one on wire wheels. Isn't that just lovely? And black. I've just realised that I've missed a row out, so I need to go down here. Little mini Corvette Stingray, the fiberglass bodied Chevrolet Corvette Series 1 E-Type here, 1964, VW Type 3, this time the fastback. We were looking at the squareback estate before. This one, I think we passed this one on the M40, little Fiat Panda 4x4 Sisley. That was bombing along quite happily. Yes, this is the 2002 that I referred to before that we saw on the motorway. Past this one, and this was going very, very well indeed. Looks like there's a few mods on this one. Debumpered, a little sort of lip spoiler thing on it as well. What's the badge? Let's have a look at this badge on the front. Something relating to racing in 1976. So that is a lovely looking car. Very stylish. These wheels look fantastic. It just looked such a sharp, clean looking car as we passed it on the motorway. Really classy looking car with the early Vanderbom type lights. Later O2s had horizontal backlights, and these were produced until such time as the first of the 3 series, the E21, came along. This is the mid-engined Toyota MR2, a Mark 1 example. The good old Moggy Traveller there. First Morgan of the day. 6 series, 635 CSI, a very appropriate registration number on it. TVR. Another V-dub over there. Let's just go around here. What else can we see? Don't forget to let me know in the comments which are your favourites. Another Sirocco here on very, very skinny tyres. Debumpered MGB GT. Electric fan buzzing away to itself with a 1984 tax disc in the window. There's a super sharp 320 BMW E21 era. Fiat Coupe next to that. Focus RS. A very modified Ford Capri with big flared arches on it. Based on the Mark II. It's a German registered car as well. 3 series, the E32 door. 911 bright yellow Vet. Ferrari 308 GT4, or the Dino rather, 308 GT4, made by Ferrari, but technically not sold as a Ferrari, but to all intents and purposes it is. Aston DB6, the second one of those we've seen here this morning. R129 Mercedes-Benz SL. A bit further down here we've got one of the SLKs, supercharged SLK with compressor. Very original looking MGB Roadster there, nice shade of blue. And here we are back to the XJR. On the end of this row is a recently arrived Volvo Amazon. This one on a 67 reg, it's a 4-door saloon. So you could also get the 2-door saloons, but these have the added advantage that the sill below the doors is galvanised on these, so the sills are often not a problem, or at least the outer sills on the 4-door cars. On the 2 doors, only part of the lower body area was galvanised. Right, this one has been de-reflected. Usually the reflectors would be in like a separate little housing just below the main light cluster, but for some reason this one's been de-reflected. Modern Porsche, modern Morgan, just driving in over the way. Little Honda Integra Type R. Look at this incredible Citroen Visa. Isn't that just such a rare survivor now? Finished in our favourite colour. What a neat little car this is. Pretty groovy trim in it as well. Can't really see in through the window, but you'll have to trust me, it's lovely in there. Festival of the Unexceptional. So this will no doubt appear in the Festival of the Unexceptional video that I did just a couple of months ago. In fact, I think I remember, is this the one that was parked in the main courtyard in front of the big house down there? Could well be. I'm pretty sure it was parked up there. More V8 Aston action over the way. Oh, it's breezy over here. RS2000. Right, great two-tone green Citroen there. Somewhat modified early Nissan Micra. S Series TVR. Another BMW 2002 or similar. There was also the 1602, and I think there was the 1502, which was like a cheaper run-out model. That Porsche we saw before. Cobra replica here, looking pretty mean and purposeful. Another, what's with all these 911 Target? This foreign registered car, no less. Has this one been signed by Walter Rühl, famous rally driver? Ferrari 308, I think. Another early MG midget, another one with the clip out side screens and the hidden door handles. Lovely car, great colour as well. That really is a bonny thing. Alfa Romeo, little Berliner, MX-5 3 Series. Right, let's keep going down here and see what else we can see. Lots of retro and classic cars here. Antique dealer's favourite, the 240 Estate. Little kit car here, what's this? A Silver Fury perhaps? Not sure. It is, fancy that. Kit car that I guessed correctly. That doesn't happen very often. Right, 3 Series wagon, very clean looking 3 Series. Originally supplied by Sittners of Nottingham. Of course, that's Frank Sittner, who used to race 3 Series in the British Touring Car Championship back in the 80s. We've got a 5 Series there. Super clean 5-door Golf Mark 1. Nice to see one that isn't a GTI. Aston DBS. So when these first came out, they still had the straight 6 in them from the DB6, and the V8 would come on a little bit later. Am I right in thinking that these front indicator and side light units are the same as a Mark II Cortina? Could be. Let me know in the comments, please. Okay, let's continue this amble along on this very, very pleasant day. Slightly breezy, but hopefully you can hear me all right. Or maybe you'd rather not hear me. Right, here's the 405 that we saw driving in from a distance a little while back, followed by the 309 hatch. A little Audi, probably an Audi 80 on a G plate. Bright red 3 Series there. Mini Cooper alongside. And I was also on the way down here, I was talking with the youthful assistant about Alvises. He's got a bit of a thing for Alvis TD21s and TEs. This is either a TE or a TF. It's a 1967 registered car. Lovely, handsome looking thing that is. There's also the open top cars as well, which cost about twice as much as the fixed heads, but if I was going to buy one of these, and I was very tempted that when I visited Chris Prince's Alvis Emporium just a year or two back, and there is a video about that elsewhere on the channel, when I had a look at his incredible collection of Alvises of this era, they really did begin to appeal a great deal to me, and I suspect one day I'll end up with one of these. Maybe if I have a big clear out and sell off some of the stuff back at OCC HQ, possibly things will get replaced by one of these. I do like the TD21. Harley likes these later cars with the stacked dual headlights per side, but I prefer the single headlights myself. Lovely quality car, one of those slightly obscure cars that tend to get a little bit forgotten about now. This one looks pretty original, bit of a work in progress, but there's nothing wrong with that. There is ash framing going on in these, so when I did do the video at Chris Prince's, he showed me around a particularly rough example and pointed out all the areas that you need to check the ash framing in, because beneath the outer skin there's a lot of woodwork going on. One of the main areas to check, which he told me about, was if you open the boot lid, you can get under here and check the condition of the woodwork, because if the rear window or the side windows have been leaking over time, that can rot out the wood frame that's behind here. So that's a handy tip if you're ever planning on buying a TD, TE or TF era of Alvis. Right, the Merc SL320, the R129. Another wonderful Porsche here, showing off its propulsion unit. Wow, that looks pretty special. TR7 drophead. Now this is quite a rare one. This isn't a Sunbeam Rapier, this is the Alpine. So this is the slightly cheaper equivalent to the fastback Rapier. And I think this is probably rarer than the Rapier. Most of the time I seem to come across Rapiers when we see one of these fastback cars, but you don't see very many of these Alpines. think the rapier, this I think is covered in vinyl, possibly the main roof as well, but certainly this sort of little panel here is vinyl covered on the rapier. But yeah, that's a rare car, quite a sleek looking thing. Very, very distinctive styling for the beginning of the 1970s. Pretty wild looking car. Guessing some American inspiration going on with the styling of that one. And on the end of the row, another open topped 911 Targa. Now here is that 8 Series Beamer. Now is it an 840 or is it an 850? It's been debadged, so I do not know. So it could be an 840 or it could be an 850, I'm not sure which this is. Pretty hefty set of exhausts out the back. Auto box. Pretty neat looking cars actually. There's that Merc that we saw driving in a little while back. Another Morgan, this is a flat rad Morgan. It's good to see one of those out here today. Somewhat modified Series 1-ish Land Rover. 1.9 GTI version of the Peugeot 205. Very distinctive, very modified VW Polo there. And here we have the Traction Avant. This is a slough built car, right hand drive. What a stunning thing this is. Traction Avant for front wheel drive, but yeah, right hand drive. So these were built in Slough and sold here new in the UK. And the other difference is the French built cars, the chevrons are on the outside of the grille, whereas the UK built cars, as you can see here, the chevrons are behind the vertical grille slats. Why you would have that difference, I do not know, but that is a good looking car, that is. Rover 75. Honda Prelude. Is this the era of Prelude that had the rear wheel steering? I think it probably is. Another mighty Aston V8. Porsche and Mercedes-Benz 190E. And over the other side of this taxiway, bearing in mind this was an RAF airfield at one time, a huge assortment of slightly later sports cars, performance cars and so on. We've got Ferraris, BMWs, Alpines, Porsches and much more. If I get a chance I'll have a look around there, but for now I think the time has come to maybe take a few photographs around here and then amble in the general direction of the main display area. I've not even got there yet, over the other side of the big hangar that you can just see there. People still arriving here today. Pre-ticket only, no turning up on the gate, so if you plan to come along to a Bicester Scramble next year, bear that in mind, get your tickets before you set off, because there's no tickets on the gate here.
And it's a big V12 then.
And over here, in front of the big hangar, which has been turned over to Auto Jumble here today, we have quite the gathering of fairly recent sports cars with a sprinkling of older models, including this, the TVR Griffith. Lovely cars. Several TVRs here. Bit of everything really. McLarens, Aston Martins, and this incredible Lamborghini Countach, the V12 Lambo. We actually passed this one, it was heading the opposite direction to us as we were driving just a couple of miles away from here. What an incredible looking car. Not the most practical car, but who cares about practical cars when you've got something as wild as this. Memories of the Cannonball Run film. Amazing looking thing. I think my phone's ringing, that'll be the youthful assistant, I think. Pretty wild looking car. A pretty tasty looking Alpine A610 Turbo here, the V6 powered car.
But he was in there.
great to see all these old wartime buildings being used for new purposes. Look at this wonderful pre-war MG. Wow. I'm not sure which model it is, to be honest. It's just a lovely looking car though.
Yeah. The rest of them are so cool though.
Yeah. What a super little car. Is it an M type? It looks a bit... It's quite small, isn't it? Yeah, so... Although the M types usually have the V windscreen, so... Anyway, alongside that, a Rover drop head. So what's the deal with this one? It's 1947. P2 12 horsepower sports tourer. That's interesting. Still on wire wheels. Great looking car. Bit of a Dad's Army tribute over here. Pretty cool. All the reenactors. Right, so let's head over into the main central display area where no doubt all manner of gems will be. Harley's already been around this inner sanctum while I was doing the public car parking area, so he will be my guide to make sure I don't miss anything interesting. A super popular event, this one. Let's just sneak through here. Ultima down there, Porsches and Lotuses, but as always we'll keep looking for some of the older cars. And look, there's a very fruity sounding MGB. Look at this stunning Cobra rep over here, polished aluminium body. I'm guessing this is probably a Hawk, but
It's a very good one.
lovely looking thing, isn't it? Huge Halibrand wheels on the back. Bless you. Very early, I think, Carman Gear. This is one of the, do they call these the Razor Edge cars, I think, with this very distinctive styling. I assume this one's on air suspension because it's dropped to its knees on the floor, but yeah, pretty rare sight. Right, let's carry on over here. Quite a few later performance cars over that away. Well, let's go and have a look at this Pagoda roof Merc 1 BWS, the registration number of this silver metallic, beautiful example with the original factory hardtop on it. The hardtop that gave this range of cars the unofficial Pagoda name due to the shape of the roof, which is reminiscent of the old Pagoda roofs. Right, got McLaren, Ferrari. Let's see if we can see anything older. What have we got in here? This is the McLaren building. Right, let's carry on. I'll walk around. Porsche 928. Pretty groovy looking cars. I do like these big GTs. 928S on the V-Reg, so about 1979. Great colour as well. What else have we got? 3 Series Coupe, an E46 Coupe, E39 Estate, M5 presumably.
I think that's a recreation. I don't
Is
think I
it?
ever did an M5 touring.
Ooh, classic Saab 900 here, just tucked away under the trees. Another E36. What else have we got? Lots of work going on the hangar over here. Of course, we're reminded that since our last visit, because we've not been here at all this year, just a few months ago was that devastating fire. And yeah, our thoughts with everyone who got tangled up in that appalling, that tragic event earlier this year. Let's go down here, bonnet up on this Lancia Fulvia, showing off the V4 engine, standard fit on these. This is a left-hand drive import, so I've seen a few Fulvias already. So V4 engine, really well forward of the centre line of the front axle. Of course, front wheel drive these cars as well. Great, very compact engine in these. Yeah. swathes of later performance cars under the trees here, bit of everything. But I spy Dodge Charger there, that's pretty groovy, and the Lancia Delta Integrale, bright red car, left-hand drive, as I think they probably all were.
Apparently this is Chris Harris's.
Was it? Yeah, right. That's somewhere you have to look on these if you're buying one, because they go rusty on the back of the roof. Yeah, there's that incredible Dodge. Wow, look at that. What a thing. And over the way, this area is given over, I think, to resto mod cars, modified, tuned up cars. And this, what's this XJS then? Remind me what this is. This is the TWR Wildcat. Supercat, that's it.
650 brake, V12 manual.
That's pretty bonkers looking car.
Resto-modi XJS.
Yeah. Of course, TWR, Tom Walkinshaw Racing.
Yeah, there's a lot of cars around here that are sort of being raved online at the moment.
Yeah, this one. I've seen a few videos about this one here and there. Pretty wild looking car.
I don't know how much they are.
Pretty appropriate seeing this one here today, given the celebration of XJS is over just the other side of the main hangar. But yeah, the TWR Supercat. Of course, TWR prepared the racing XJSs back in the 1980s. TWR, Tom Walkinshaw Racing. And these continuation cars are continued by members of the same TWR family, Tom Walkinshaw's family.
It's about 900,000, I think these are.
So what's this, an Eagle?
This is an Eagle low drag GT.
Low drag GT, I see.
9 of them, I think.
What a beautiful looking car.
They sort of make them whenever anyone asks them to, I think.
That is one tasty looking car.
900 kilograms.
Is it?
I think I read 900.
That is a beautiful car. Just look at the panel fit. The panel fit, I mean, this bonnet is a huge bonnet, and I know people who restore E-types, they always have a lot of fun trying to make bonnets fit properly and get all the gaps right, but just look at the gaps on this.
They're Jaguar specialists.
I know, yeah, the effort, the time that's gone in to making this huge lift-up bonnet, which is nearly half of the car, to fit with that kind of precision, really tells you that you are looking at one beautifully turned out car. And that really is 4.7, is it?
Yeah.
That really is a stunning car.
1,020 kilograms, sorry.
It's just over a ton in weight.
It's lighter than my car.
Yeah, that really is something. Again, it's got those Dunlop wheels on as well, which look fantastic. Yeah. Again, just look at the panel gaps on that. It's an incredible looking car.
The wheels are aluminium.
Another somewhat modified E-Type behind that.
This is their latest.
So what's this one then? This is the lightweight GTR. There we go.
Oh, this one's 900 kilograms.
930 kilograms, dry weight, 4.7 all aluminium engine. So that's interesting because the XK engine was aluminium head but iron block. So this is all aluminium. So that's quite unusual. Wide angle cylinder head. Wow.
So you think these are like 700,000, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
You've still got to give them E-Type.
You've got to start with it.
Yeah.
You've still got to buy an E-Type to begin with, haven't you?
Series 1 as well.
Yeah.
This is great, isn't it? I love it.
Yeah. So what's this then? It's got a V6 in it, is it? It's pretty mad. Pretty mad. Lots of hot BMWs over here. They're a bit too new. We've got a Renault 5, one of these new electric Renault 5s. Let's keep going over here. Super busy. Bit of an end of term feeling to this one.
So this is kind of like a new Neue Klasse.
There's that, the new one. Because this is the old, this is the original Neue Klasse Beamer. The BMW 2000. This one, early 1970s, about 71, 72. So this was four-door, a little bit bigger than the 02 series cars, which were produced at the same kind of era. You don't see many of these around. So that's the new, effectively the new Neue Klasse design. This is the original one from 50 years ago, 55 years ago in fact. So not many of those around. There is a Neue Klasse mouldering away behind the garage not far from us. Now, one of my favourite BMWs, the BMW Z8, the V8 powered BMW Z8, that is one glorious looking car. That really is the bee's knees, I think. Right, there's another one alongside this one with the factory hardtop. That's pretty tasty as well. MX-5, modified, lowered. Allen Mann Racing Spec Mark 1 Escort. Very distinctive livery, the Allen Mann Racing colours, gold and red. What's this here? Little Morgan. It's a neat little fella. Not three-wheeled Morgan.
What do you think of this? The new one.
And this is its
Super 3.
That's a Super 3, is it? Oh. Well, it's good to see them carrying on the ethos of the old three-wheelers.
They're really popular.
Is it?
Ford 3cylinder.
Is it? Ford engine, is it?
They're really popular. Even though it's not V12.
Now, I notice while there are lots of modern Beamers, there is this glorious 3-litre CSL L4 lightweight. So these were somewhat lighter than the CSI that we were looking at before, the green metallic car. This has got the full Batmobile kit on it. So you've got these slightly wider arches, the spoiler on the back of the roof, the big wing on the rear, boot lid. Apparently these extra bits and bobs were supplied as a kit in the boot of the newly supplied car, ready for the owner to fit these themselves. What a fantastic thing. I remember reading about these in copies of Autocar back in the 1970s, racing in the European Touring Car Championship against the big Jag XJ Coupes, that kind of thing. Just a wonderful, wonderful bit of kit. The 3-litre CSL Batmobile. Beautiful car.
Involved with new cars, and you can sort of do
3 Series M3, the E30, lots of later Beamers. And an E46 just here.
That's very nice.
Okay, we amble back in this direction, past the Allen Mann Racing Escort. Look at this lovely Skoda. Is this an Octavia? I think it probably is, a 2-door Octavia. Let's have a look at the information, we'll cheat. Yeah, Octavia 1964, premiered in 1959. A 1200cc 4-stroke water-cooled inline 4-speed manual gearbox, hydraulic brakes all round. Great looking thing. 1964. Isn't that just stunning? Oh yeah, they've done Harley's trick. He's done painted wheels white on his VW Fox, and this one has got the same look to it. Right, we'll carry on around here. I'll just have a look at the back end of this Octavia, because you don't see these around all that often. The little fins, a bit like the Triumph Herald, BAW Shropshire registered Skoda. I'm surprised we haven't seen this at some of the shows a bit closer to home. The world's smallest exhaust pipe.
So you've seen this MX, right?
Yeah, I'll have a look at that in a minute. Right. Okay, alongside it, apparently this is the Rocketeer MX-5 with a V6 engine.
This is a Jag V6.
It's a Jaguar engine, is it?
But it weighs less than the original 4-cylinder, I think.
Doing with the LS3 engine, there's a number of... The reason we chose this...
Probably the most affordable resto mod. I think they're about 30 or so. They are brilliant though.
Right, let's carry on down here. There's a rear view of the Z8. What else have we got? Right, Porsches various. Very, very tasty Porsches. There's no shortage of those here today, but look at this. The Atalanta. Now these were a pre-war design, but I think they did go back into manufacture in more recent times. Let's have a look at the information in the window, because this could be one of the recreated cars, or it could be, there we go, Atalanta Sports. Yeah, rebooted in 2018, so this is one of the later build cars. Wow.
It's not exact. It is a continuation.
What a beautiful car that is. I think the giveaway that this is a continuation is the fact that it has to have the side turn indicators on the front wing. That's to get it through IVA. You need that, just as you would with a new build modern car.
A bit more modern. You can see like digital bits on the dials.
Yeah.
So it's a sort of
Yeah,
Stone mod sort of thing again.
yeah, it's a beautiful car. What a stunning looking car. These were built originally you can see it's got disc brakes on the back as well. But these were built pre-war, and Dennis Poor, the gentleman who used to own our race car truck, he was their test driver, and he would take people out for very spirited test drives back in the 1930s to try and woo people into buying one of their cars. Isn't that a stunning car? A new build, or virtually a new build car, but absolutely incredible homage to the original pre-war examples. Lovely little Fiat 124 Spider. And behind it we have an MGA, a frontline development MGA, presumably many modifications. What's going on with the engine in this one? Lots of changes. Is it? Oh. Plus frontline development's well known for their MGB conversions and builds. I think this is the first time I've seen a frontline MGA.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
Right, we'll carry on down here past the very pretty little Fiat 124 Spider and its later brother, the Fiat 124 alongside it. These were based on the contemporary Mazda MX-5. Oh, look at this sharp suited gentleman down here, the Triumph Vitesse 2 litre. So that's a 2 litre Mark 1, I think, 1967. Basically the very similar shape rather to our little Herald back at base, but this has the lusty 6-cylinder 2 litre engine under the bonnet. The first Vitesses had the 1.6 straight 6. This is a 2 litre Mark 1. Very sharp looking car, but yeah, virtually the same body as ours. Ours has even got the Vitesse cappings on the bumper, just like you see here. Lovely powder blue, same colour as the two Herald 1200s that I featured in a video just a few days ago here on the Old Classic Car channel. So there's a fair bit of Triumph content going on at the moment. Mini light wheels, very similar to those that we've got on our Herald 1250. Yeah. There's one of these mouldering away in a garage not all that far from where we are based, and I was only looking at that the other day thinking, would that make for an interesting car to have in the garage alongside the Herald? We'll have to see on that one. Right, now what have we got now? So what you're saying, this is a modified Series 3 E-Type?
Yeah, it's like it's not an Eagle, but it's kind of an Eagle, but
right.
A Series 3.
So yeah, because most tweaked E-Types are based on Series 1s, but you don't see too many resto modded Series 3s. There's a manual box in it, retrimmed interior. Wow, that's a lot of engine.
6.1.
6.1 litre V12.
That's enough, isn't it?
So they throttle bodies, are they?
Yeah. So it's injected.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Wow, that is a lot. That is a lot of engine. Look at the tubular exhaust manifolding as well. That's pretty special.
Series 3.
Yeah, you don't see Series 3s resto modded all that often. Right, let's carry on down here. Got a Rally Spec Alpine here, the A110. Look at this beautiful little Fiat 500. What a little cracker, complete with the little folding picnic table and matching chairs. And if that wasn't good enough, there is a little trailer on the back of this super little Fiat. And in fact we have two Fiat 500s, that one a 1964 car, and both of them have very stylish little trailers on the back, each with a Vespa. Wow, isn't that just superb? I'm a bit of a sucker for an old trailer. There goes the polished aluminium Cobra. Really excellent turnout for this event. You can well see why. The variety and the quality of the exhibits is just exceptional, really. Yeah, how cool to see these two here with these very groovy little trailers. Are these period trailers or have these been built specially? I'm not entirely sure, but They are.
Take a while to make them.
Yeah, they are lovely, aren't they? Just look at that Vespa on the side. That really is neat. And staying with the Fiat theme, we have alongside, let's just get a rear view of those two. Alongside those two great Fiat 500s, we have the forerunner to them, the great little Fiat Topolino, or Little Mouse. This is one of the facelifted Topolinos with the headlights built into the front wings. The earlier cars had separate headlights above the curvy wings, but otherwise pretty similar cars to look at. Really neat to see these super old Fiats here today. And look at this stunning Alvis badged up as an Alvis special.
This is one of my favourites.
Yeah, this is.
The dash is different.
Yeah, there's a lot of differences, aren't there? I know Graber did the modified TDs. Oh, it is Graber, you're right. Yes, there's a tiny little badge on the front wing. Yeah, different dash in these. Very sporty looking car.
Looks like a
What a
Ferrari.
stunning car that is. Isn't that just beautiful? This looks very Aston-y, this bit here, doesn't it? That is one.
It really looks very Ferrari.
Wow. It's like a Facel Vega, isn't it? Or,
Yeah, and that.
what a stunning car. So this is the special Graber-bodied Alvis TD. And I mean, the TD21 is a beautiful looking car, but this takes it just to another level. I especially love the dash as well. Gone is the wooden dash of the regular TD21 to be replaced by the dash that we just saw a moment ago. But that is one. Well, that is really quite a special looking car, that is. It is just wonderful. And I love how these haven't just been set into the front wings. The wing actually flares out to accommodate them. It's one of those cars where you just stare at it and just admire the detailing of it. And if one Graber Alvis wasn't enough, there are two here. We've got an open top car registered, one YTG.
There's another one actually.
Oh, well, is there another one somewhere else, is there?
There, yeah.
Oh, is there? Oh. Wow. Again, very different styling on this one. Now that is even more Facel Vega looking, with these stacked headlamps and the very different grille compared to the car just behind it there. Yeah. Again, the little Graber script on the front wing there, and these beautiful, presumably air vents set in to the front wings. Now there's always something interesting to be found in this parking area here. We've got a Honda NSX heading up this particular row alongside the MX-5 Mark 1. Mini Cooper, another little Fiat 500, this one wearing a very natty set of alloy wheels, like those. Right, so let's go down this side and then we'll work our way up the other row. More Citroën 2CV action, this from about 1985. E-Class Merc, a 124, the W124, left-hand drive that one. Here's one of these funny little VWs. Two more Amazon Estates, this one on wider, standard pattern but wider wheels, which really do set it off a treat. And look in the back, we've got a little monkey bike, a little Ducati monkey bike in the back there, so that's neat. And another one on wide steelies as well, so two for the price of one. One about 1967, this white car a couple of years older, about 1965. Lovely V12 Ferrari over here. The exact model escapes me at this moment in time, but front engine V12, that's all you really need to know. And a lovely dark midnight blue paint finish. Glorious Yeah, lovely. Probably a 365, we think. Beautiful Barani wheels, Pininfarina coachwork. Glorious car. Pretty tasty Aston alongside. And we are back to special bodied Alvises here. Another, I think, Graber-bodied car. I can't see a Graber script on this one, but it's badged up on the back as the Alvis Special. And look at this, different again, with these funny little fins, a bit like, oh, what was that Bristol? Was it the 405, 404 or 405 that had little fins on it, little four-door Bristol? And that reminds me of that. But the roofline reminds me a bit of a Citroen DS, the way this sort of tapers, the roof tapers down. It's very DS-like, I think. Oh, here we go, 1959 TD21. Delivered to M. Piaggio of Geneva, right-hand drive. Aluminium panels for the front wings, doors, roof and boot. Nardi two-spoke steering wheel, Barani wire wheels. Oh, it is a Graber. It is Graber. Yeah. Wow.
I don't know they were Barani.
No, they don't look like Baranis. Yeah, I don't think those are Baranis. But isn't that wonderful? Again.
It is very Aston.
That beautiful Nardi steering wheel there, signed. Oh, by gum, that is one swish motor.
It's very Ferrari and Aston.
So, 3 Graber-bodied Alvises here, each different from the other. It really is a treat to see these 3 super rare cars here today. And these aren't exactly thick on the ground either. They're Gordon Keeble. Yeah. Pretty groovy car, got a E46 3 Series and a mini Sprite edition just over here. Front view now of the 2 great Amazon estates. This is the same colour as the £50 121 I bought way back in the early 1990s. And this also has a Nardi of Torino steering wheel on it. Who remembers those days when you used to acid etch your registration number onto your windows? Let's carry on around here past Aston Martin Vanquish. What is this over here? Now this is a bit of me, this is this magnificent Bentley. Wow, just what a great looking thing that is. Yes, that really is pretty tasty. It's good to see one with a saloon bodywork as well. So many of these cars have got the open bodywork, which is wonderful as well. And quite a few saloons have been rebodied in the style of the old Le Mans cars. But it's pretty cool to see this one here with, presumably, I'm guessing this rear part of the roof used to open. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. Nope. It is a fixed roof. Yeah. What a great thing that is. Yeah, lovely shape to it, isn't it? Right. We'll continue down here. Marshall lamps on the front of this Bentley. What a fine pair of Bentleys. This one with a lovely polished radiator surround. This one very, very original. And look at the wonderful horse racing mascot atop the radiator. I wonder if this Bentley did ever tow a caravan. Great set of Lucas lamps on the front of it. The windows up. Can we see inside? It looks to be very, very original trim. Incredible survivor. Right, let's carry on. Got some later sporty cars over there. We've got a Mustang, a 65 Mustang over here, still with the original wheel trims on it. It's a 289 V8. 289 is the cubic inch, the size of the engine in American parlance. Neat to see those wheel covers on. And what do we have over here? This is an Aston Martin DB Mark III. So this was an evolution of the DB24.
Is it original paint?
Don't know.
It looks so.
David Brown, that's where the DB comes from. I heard a gentleman with a modern DB9 trying to figure out what the DB stood for. Well, there's your answer. DB, David Brown, he of tractor manufacture. Wow, that's so original in there. Look at the seats in there. Wow, but they could tell a story or two. Going back to the late 1950s, I guess, the age of this one. Wow. I'm sure this is a very, very well travelled car. How original does all this look? Well used example of the DB Mark III. Not a car you see all that often. I'm not sure how many were made relative to the DB24, but typically we see a lot more 24s than these, the DB Mark III. So it's a real treat to see this one here today. What a beauty. And alongside that glorious Aston Martin, we have this, the Bristol 403. A very wind-cheating shape, as you'd expect from a company with roots in the aviation industry. This is the Bristol 2 litre. Super wind cheating shape, very similar shape in many ways to the very early Saabs. The 911 movements just over the way there. These were incredible looking cars. Ferrari Testarossa. So a bit of a poster car for many people back in the day. Huge car, huge wide car, flat 12 engine in the back. Yeah, it's definitely a Testarossa, this one. Bit of drag racing action over here. V8 power in this one, the old flathead V8, the old Ford flathead V8. Not that dissimilar to the engine we had in our V8 Pilot until just a few months ago. A big difference, apart from all the tuning bits of course, is the fact that on the original flatheads the distributor was on the front over there, and it was a bit of a pain to get at. This one has an offset drive sending the dizzy up to here, and it makes it a whole lot easier to work on compared to the installations in the earlier flatheads. But yeah, pretty cool to see that. That would have made the Pilot go quite well, I think. Not much in the way of exhaust on this either. 205 GTI on manoeuvres. What's the engine in this one over here? This looks, wow, that looks proper old. There goes the Bristol 403. Good job I filmed that when I did. Look at this, a massive supercharger bolted to the top of this one. Oh, a proper period bit of kit this is. Not much room for your feet in there. So big hefty 4-cylinder engine, not sure what it's out of. Massive supercharger hanging off the top. A couple of Stromberg carburetors feeding it. Wow. The front wheels look like they're off a Ford Model Y.
Built in 1968.
A bit more hot rod action down here. The old Ford Model B. This one with a V8 nestling under the hood. This one's got a flat head in it. What do we have tucked away in here? Got an aluminium bodied Jaguar XK120 Roadster, 911 over there. There's a glorious Ferrari just around the corner here. Bit of petrol pump action too. We've got a 65 Morris Mini Cooper S rally car here. A couple of Tudor Scream Wash bottles here. I wonder what they feed. That's pretty neat. Looks like the original plates on this one as well. Look at this old Bedford CA. Wow. So this is a Mark III Bedford CA with the taller one-piece windscreen when compared to the Mark II that came before. So many of these have been pressed into service as mobile catering vehicles, and this one is pretty groovy. Fine tea and barista coffee. I think these are quite funky as well, actually. Quite a few modern Alfa Romeos here, but also a sprinkling of classic types, and here quite an early Alfa Romeo Alfa Sud from about 1977ish. It's a pre-facelift Alfa Sud. Just one door mirror on this one. By all accounts these were a great steer, but alas the metal moth saw off these. I mean, the 70s wasn't a great era for anti-rust protection at the best of times, but somehow Alfa and Fiat, they went the extra mile and rusted away. Within just 2 or 3 years they were going quite rusty, so how any of them have survived is really quite incredible. So despite the shape, this is technically a saloon because it just has the opening boot lid. The rear window is fixed. That's pretty cool. And look at this, a Sprint Veloce version of the Alfa Sud alongside. Again, not exactly a common sight now. So what's this? Anti-freeze sticker. It's a nice little detail, like that. Devil is in the detail when it comes to old cars. Got plastic plates on this one. Oh, a great pair of super rare Alfa Romeos. One of the Amazons is off. My roving correspondent has headed over to the public car park and notes that quite a few of the cars have already left. It's not even lunchtime yet. Maybe this one is going off to park somewhere else. Maybe not. Nestled between Aston Martin and Alfa Romeo GTV, we've got this wonderful early 1970s Marcos. Pretty groovy. Notes the Triumph Herald bonnet catches. Yeah, very, very neat. Very low slung, and I approve There might be one of those or one or two of those back at base. The BOAC bag, the in-flight bag, British Overseas Airways Corporation. So what would they have been flying at the time of this car at the beginning of the 1970s? Guessing VC-10, Super VC-10, and possibly the Boeing 707. Jaguar X-Type is off. And there's that great Alfa Romeo GTV. Some of these were the 4-cylinder cars, some had the V6 engine. Pretty cool looking things. I've always liked the look of those. Right, let's carry on down here. Very sharp looking E39 5 Series there. A little Lotus is just, a pair of Lotuses are just going out. Let's just keep going around here past a magnificent pre-war Riley. What a beauty that is. In fact, I can see a few other pre-war cars tucked away in here, so let's have a quick peer in here. Lovely little Austin 7 box saloon just there. Got an E-Type 4.2 Series 2 fixed head coupe. Possibly a 2+2, can't quite tell from here. Got there the XK120 up on the ramp. What is that over there? Not quite sure. Sadly we can't get in here, but we can see this lovely old pump. How appropriate is that? In the old fire section building we've got this Land Rover Series 3 from the early 1970s and matching trailer, which is probably a little bit older. I'm guessing this could even be wartime. Coventry Climax engine in the back. Of course, Coventry Climax, they did fire pumps originally, and then the engines were adapted, or some of their engines were adapted for racing purposes. I do love these Blumels warning triangles on the back. They're very, very nice indeed. I'm guessing this is still a runner. Leaves just coming down a bit now. It's that time of year, sadly. It's great to see that with all the bits and bobs on it, the hoses, the nozzles, even a handheld fire extinguisher for smaller conflagrations. Yeah, this is somewhat later, dating as it does to about 1972. Right, let's carry on. My youthful assistant has already gone back for a sandwich, but I'm ploughing on regardless. I'll grab a butty a little bit later. Interesting little Peugeot there, also converted into a catering vehicle, just like that Bedford CA. Alongside it, a lovely little Thames 307E van, based on the Anglia. There's a flare-side Chevy pickup truck. Looks like a 6 Series, a fairly early 6 Series coupe is off. This could be one of the fairly early examples actually. It could even be a 633. Most of the time you see 635s, but early on in the 6 Series production you could get the 633, the 3.3 litre version. Which one is this? Oh, this is the 633 CSI. That's quite a rare car now actually. That's a hell of a car. A gaggle of early Lotuses along here. Let's have a bit of a mooch along here. Lotus Esprits, I think they're being celebrated this year. There's an anniversary, I believe. Hence this assortment of early and somewhat later Esprits. This is quite an early one, James Bond spec. A turbo Esprit there from the mid 1980s. Very distinctive wedge styling on these particular cars. Somewhat softened on the later example that we see here. Trundling interview is that Neue Klasse BMW 2000 of the early 1970s. What do we have over here? Jaguar there, 190E Mercedes-Benz AC Seeker. These were very nice looking little cars. These were the closed top versions of the AC Ace. This one I believe has been re-engined. It's a pretty hefty looking side exhaust, an ACA Seeker with a V8 engine, yours for £95,000. It's got a Ford 302 HO or high output V8 engine, originally developed for the Trans Am Racing Series, 5 litre V8 in such a lightweight little car. It's a beautiful little car, that is. And how about this for a rarity, a Frazer-Nash. There you go. Frazer-Nash, more often a name you come across when at vintage sports car club events, in hill climbs, etc. This is slightly later than that. I love the little stopwatch just there on the transmission tunnel, hinting at the competitive nature of this beautiful little car. Those door handles look a bit like the Spitfire ones. What a super shape. The way this back curves round reminds me a lot of the 300SL, the Gullwing Merc. Has a very similar window arrangement around the back of the cabin. It's incredible curved glass here. What a super little car. It really is incredible. All the panel joins leaded over, so no ugly gaps, unsightly lines where the panels join up, all leaded in, resulting in this incredible shape, the wind cheating shape. And look at the shape, the way the back edge of the boot lid curves around. What a great looking car. There's usually something interesting to be spotted in here. What do we got here? Oh, there is a Gullwing Merc. So I was talking about the shape of the back of the roof on that Frazer-Nash, and it's very, very similar to the back of the cabin on the 300SL, the famous Gullwing Merc. Got an XJ220 as well. It's a little Mini Cooper rally car just over the back there. You can see XK in the corner, and another wonderful front engine V12 Ferrari nestled over there.
Very orange, and that's what I.
Don't forget to let me know in the comments which of the cars featured would be your take-home car. Perhaps your car is even featured here today. You have it on display. It's always interesting to hear from viewers of the videos. Is your car on show? Please let me know which was your car. I've tried to feature as many of the older cars as I can. Got a few more around here. Morris Minor convertible outside the trimming shop here at Bicester Heritage. We have a quick sneaky peek in here, and there's a lovely vintage Salmson. That is a lovely little car, that is. All sorts of little businesses devoted to the preservation, maintenance and improvement of classic and vintage cars, and what a great use for all the old wartime buildings. Got some examples of the trimmer's art here. Right, let's carry on, don't want to miss anything out. Got another Fulvia here, imported left-hand drive car alongside a Morris 1300 Estate or Traveller to give it its proper name, complete with the fake wood down the side, just like on the Mini Clubmans of the 1970s. Rambo Diablo, I think. Just down here I see more examples of vintage Bentley. Oh, super example nestled away here. There we go. That is a fair old chunk of car. And look at this incredible Packard alongside. So this was America's response, really, the answer or equivalent to our Rolls-Royce. These were real top par quality cars from America. This from the 1930s. Magnificent car. Isn't that just wonderful? It's got the twin side mounts as well, with covers on, and the mirrors attached to them. They're Packard branded mirrors. Never seen those before. Huge, great long doors, triple hinges to support the weight of what must be very heavy doors. I mean, the glass alone must weigh a fair bit. Super swish car, this one. Look at the shape of that, the Packard 8, straight 8 engine. Probably a side valve, I think, whereas Buick went to overhead valves. I think Packard was still on side valve engines at that point in time. They got a 65 fastback Mustang, another MG Magnet here on slightly wide steel wheels, possibly TR6 wheels, maybe. It certainly looks very much in keeping. MGZB Veritone, so originally it would have had two-tone paint scheme, and it'll have the bigger wraparound back window, which it does. Right, so let's just amble over here past the race-prepared BMW M3, which all looks pretty purposeful in there.
Always love how rudimentary shit
And now we are in the Mecca for vintage Bentleys here down at Bicester. They look just at home in this wonderful restored old building. To see these 20s Bentleys is just such a treat. This one mid-restoration. Maybe in from Japan. Stripped down gearbox. I love the old winching arrangements in this building, presumably dating to the Second World War. We've got a note up there, Air Ministry number 1, safe working load 2 tons. Ideal for lifting Bentley engines in and out, I would imagine. Yeah, I love even all the old window frames, all that kind of thing. This wooden propeller here, dated 1913. What a wonderful place to be. Bit of racing Bentley engine overhaul in the building just here. Wow, that's a sump and a half. Mazda RX-7, one of the Series 1 RX-7s with a rotary engine in. Looks to be a real beauty, that one. Alongside a Mazda RX-4 from 1973, also rotary engine. Got an early Spitty here, Mark IV, Ultima, but I'm drawn to the straight 8 Buick in its mirrors. And this has got the bonnet that you can open either way, a bit like the old E-Series Vauxhalls that I ramble on about from time to time. These, you could open the bonnet either side. The hinge arrangement allowed you to open it that way or that way, depending on which side of the engine you needed to get at. So that was all pretty clever stuff. This one, I'm not sure, it's about 1940 or 41 perhaps. The big straight 8 overhead valve Buick engine, which was an evolution of the engine that was debuted in our car, which is ours is a 1931. This is a few years later, but not that many years, so this would be early 40s, I would imagine. The Buick Roadmaster, badge for Dynaflow. Dynaflow is the automatic transmission fitted to this car. Pretty groovy, 4-door, big hefty 4-door with the straight 8 engine under that very distinctive bonnet. What else have we got here? Ginetta, a little swallow-bodied Austin 7. They did open and closed versions of these. The Swallow Coach Building Company, as founded by Sir William Lyons, as he became, and William Walmsley. Originally building bodies for sidecars, and they went on into the production of bodies for Austin 7s, and then cars based on standard running gear. The Austin 7 looks like an Ulster wrap. MG here, oh, there's the Ultima. What else have we got? Peugeot 405, and alongside it, I'm guessing this is a little twin cam Austin 7. It was these little races of the 1930s that the Pathfinder pedal car that we are rebuilding, or rather Harley is getting on with, were based upon. Great little cars. The engine was based on that of the Austin 7, but very, very uprated to suit the racing of the era. A great looking little car. Got an Austin 10-4 here, a little 2-seater with dicky seat in the back. So this is a Chrome Rad 10-4. These were built from 32 to 1934. Got a Riley saloon alongside. I'm guessing a 9, but I could be wrong. Yep, we've got a dicky seat in there, hence the step there and there on the back wing. That'll allow you to clamber into there, but no weather protection, so you really won't want to be going too far in there. Neat, you don't see too many of those. Immaculate Moggy Minor Traveller. Super sleek Riley. A little BSA, so what's this? A 1960s quarter-mile sprint stroke drag bike based on BSA Bantam engine. Wow, it's really quite something. And it's on the roller starter here as well. So to start it, you would spin this up. That would spin the back wheel over in gear, turn the engine over, and that would fire it up. Pretty groovy. Oh, right, let's amble over here without tripping over anything. Right, yeah, it looks very original, this Riley. Look at this little racing Austin 7. Note how the engine is canted over, so it doesn't follow the line of the car. Presumably that's to allow the transmission to run alongside the driver so that they can sit right down low in the chassis. Another Austin 7 racer behind that. Bull Taco Trials bike. The Lotus Europa Series 2 chassis. A couple of GT40 replicas here. Old Alton Park. Right, let's carry on. I think I need to go in that direction. I don't think I've been up there yet. Yeah, this is presumably a replica of the old Austin 7 Ulster, the EA Sports as they were sold as, of the late 1920s. Some were supercharged, some were not supercharged. There's the Ultima, a little Spitfire with some very distinctive alloy wheels. Don't see those very often. It's a very neat example, this one. More early Land Rover action here. This is a Series 2A. So I was looking at that Series 2 earlier on, which had the flat slopey bits there, and I was saying about the 2A having the curved panel, and you can see an example of it there. A great little David Brown tractor. Well, it's more of a tug. This is the kind of thing that would have tugged aircraft around when this was an RAF airfield. MG's various over there, MGB GT and a V8 there. Porsche is off. This is the MG SV X-Power, I think it was. Yeah, that's it. 20 plus years old now, that one. Pretty incredible. 64 roadster there. What do we have here? I think this is an MG 1880 with fixed head saloon bodywork on it. There is a Tourer that occasionally pops up at VSCC events local to us, and I'm thinking this is probably similar running gear to that, but it's a lovely pre-war saloon, very elegant styling. Little smoker's hatch in the roof for the cigar smoking members of society, so as not to fumigate everyone. Very, very square back on it, surprisingly upright rear panel, the boot panel, I guess. But yeah, very elegant, and you see very, very few of these around now. Not many of these. Is it? Oh, it is. There we go. Yeah, it is an MG 1880 Saloon, a Mark II from 1930, 2.5 litre, 6-cylinder overhead cam engine. That is one very, very good looking car. Looks like a motor show spec MGB right here, showing all the inner workings of the MGB. So as you can see, rear drive, there's the differential, and there's the prop shaft that transmits the power from the back of the gearbox. The clutch is in there, and that connects and disconnects the gearbox, the drive, from the engine that's spinning away there when it's running. Yeah. Getting lots and lots of attention is this, the Aston Martin Valkyrie, which was dreamed up by Adrian Newey, formerly of Red Bull in more recent times, but now with Aston Martin's F1 team. So this is Supercar Alley, and what is this incredible motorcycle over here? The Kingsman. What is it? The Kingsman Royal Enfield. Pretty epic looking pre-war Aston Martin there. A Royal Enfield flat tanker. And look at this incredible, what is it? Is it a quadricycle of some description? A 1901 Royal Enfield. Oh, incredible thing this is. So original, look at that wonderful original upholstery. Oh, it's certainly got 4 wheels. Okay, answers on a postcard as to what exactly it is I'm looking at here, but whatever it is pretty neat, and I would love a ride on that. Aston is just moving slightly. Gingerly heading off the grass banking. Upgraded VW Beetle here. Look at all the accessories, the wheel spats. They are really, they just transform the shape of the back of this lovely car. Proper case on the rack. Danish registered, I'm guessing. Great to see the original paint finish on so much of this Beetle as well. And we head head off in this direction now, and behind the bay window VW tow vehicle is this Porsche on a trailer. And we have an Audi saloon of the early 1970s. Now, is this an Audi 80 or the 100? I think it's the Audi 80, isn't it? I'm fairly sure it is, but it's been a while since I've seen one of these. Yeah, Audi 80 LS REW783M. Very original paint on this one. Proper preservation job, this one. A mighty four-cylinder Honda 750 in the back of this very smart VW pickup. CB750K. There's a pretty rare version of the Ford Cortina Mark II. This is a Crayford converted Ford Cortina. Crayford, of course, famous for making convertible versions of all manner of saloon cars back in the 1960s and the 1970s. This is just one of them, based on the Cortina Mark II, and next to it is a super duper original Ford Model A. Wowzers, look at that. Very, very popular choice in VSCC events. This one, well, it almost looks like it lives under this tree. There's a fair bit of patina going on here. Looks like it needs a little bit of TLC. I'm all for patina, but this needs a bit of an oily rag, I suspect, before it gets too bad. Alongside it we have a big old pre-war Austin, similarly patinated thanks to the local tree life. Again, hopefully it'll get a bit of a wipe over with an oily rag before too long. We can live in hope. The bonnet is up on the Model A, showing off the four-cylinder side valve engine fitted to this, and many hundreds of thousands of other Model A's and AA trucks that were produced over several years. Happy memories of tinkering with the old Model A truck, AA truck rather, that we had until just a few years ago. That was in 1930. The Model A came out in about 26 or 27, that kind of era, and was sold for several years. This is a two-door saloon, very original looking, but yeah, it could certainly do with a bit of the old oily rag. Here we have a bright red MGTC, Lotus Elise, super original looking Land Rover Series 1. This one is up for sale. (1956) 88-inch Land Rover 2-litre petrol, 2 genuine owners from new. The first one was until May 2008. 20 grand, a smidge under £20,000. Lovely original paintwork. Next to that we have the Jensen Healey. So yeah, as you might guess, a collaboration between Jensen and Donald Healey, powered by Lotus twin cam engine. Another Landy for sale here, Series 3 this time. Back to Series 1s and another patina heavy Series 1 over here with a New South Wales plates. Well, it's a UK plate, but with NSW for New South Wales, which is presumably where this one came in from. This one is £30,000, 80-inch 1950. Yours for £30,000 or near offer.
It looks weird. It's not flat.
Somewhat shinier is this BMW 2002 alongside the Landy, and this has the later backlights that I was talking about earlier when we were looking at the car with the small circular backlights. This is the slightly later version with a different rear lighting, but otherwise looks pretty similar. Slightly different grille as well compared to the first of the O2 saloons. Great in this very, very period 1970s colour. It's just gone 1 o'clock and already quite a few cars are leaving. I don't really understand why so many cars leave just after lunch. It makes it very, very difficult to scoot around and try and see everything that's here, but well, that's just how it goes. Right, a glorious Bentley there. Little Peugeot 205 XS. Very neat looking little car, that one. Subaru with the world's biggest exhaust pipe. Bay window VW camper van. Pretty tasty looking car. Modified Spridgets here, and the Renault 5 on the end, the GT Turbo. This incredible car we saw as we were heading in this morning, incredible Mustang. And we've got a notchback VW here. Super duper original. It's great that so many people are sort of preserving original paint finishes rather than just repainting everything. Of course, everything needs repainting eventually, but if you can preserve the original finish, well, that just really adds to the appeal of cars like this. Really, really tasty looking V-dub. Sliding steel sunroof. It's pretty wicked. And over here, I think this is the Triumph Herald 1360 that I saw much, much earlier today. So this will have the 1296cc version of the engine that's fitted in our Herald 1250. Of course, this has the full folding opening roof for a bit of open air action. Of course, the separate chassis of the Triumph Herald lent itself to so many different permutations of the basic Herald formula. So you've got open top cars, convertibles, the estates, the courier van, and all the cars that used this chassis as a basis for it. The Spitfire was based on a modified version of the Herald chassis, same for the GT6. And there's a Bond Equipe as well. Another square back Type 3 there. Saab 900 Turbo Cabriolet. I think I actually saw another one of these earlier, but I didn't film it. More wind in the hair fun with this one. Next to the Splitty here is the mighty Ford Ranchero. So this was Ford of America's idea of a very drivable pickup truck, so it gave you all the practicality of a pickup truck, but very similar to drive to a regular saloon or sedan Ford of the era. Of course, Chevy had the El Camino as well, and again, like the Ranchero, it was all sort of like a one-piece body. It wasn't a separate pickup body, it was all joined in, a bit like lots of the Australian utes or coupe utilities that were produced following the Second World War. They had this sort of unibody style look to them, and that's something that Ford employed on this, the Ranchero, the rival to the Chevy El Camino. Right, let's go over here. A couple of minis. Do like that. Bit of roof rack action going on this one. That's always good to see. Right, let's keep going down here. What do we have? Another Lotus Esprit. Quite a few of those here today. Another M3 based on the E30. It's a grey Fiat 500L, L for Lux, luxurious, with a few extra bells and whistles compared to the regular 500. Next to that, a little fixed head version of the Lotus Elan, the little twin cam Lotus Elan. Great little cars these are, drive really, really well, very nimble, light and agile, fiberglass body, super light, quite a pokey little twin cam engine. Right, I'm going to keep going down here, a couple of Landis, and I spy a much modified Mazda Unos, the import version of the MX-5.
was asking me the other day. Yeah.
Got a feeling it's going to rain.
And the other Amazon is going now too. Look at this over here, another ACA Seeker. What a beautiful, beautiful car. Almost looks like a Ferrari at the front here with this sort of egg crate grille. Oh, my God. Sheesh. I know someone who would like that. Looks like it shares its rear lights with the Austin Healey Sprite Mark 1. Yeah. Very swish indeed. Big wheels and tyres crammed in under those arches, and that looks just perfect. Aston DB6 over here, Ute 333D, and another Austin 10.4 from 32 to 34. This time the four-door saloon. This would be the forerunner to what became the Austin 10.4 Litchfield with the painted radiator cowl, but these slightly earlier cars had the chrome radiator surround, as you see here. A little bit bigger than an Austin 7 and arguably a little bit more usable, if I dare say. Okay, maybe not as tunable. It doesn't have the following of the Austin 7s, mainly because they're popular and eligible for VSCC events, but for a road car I would buy one of these before an Austin 7 every day of the week, because I think they're really great, underrated and slightly overlooked cars now.
Yes, it's got the AJ30 engine, 3-litre Jack engine. This is a client's car. We've got out to demonstrate just the other side of the hangar.
To be rude not to check out the auto jumble area inside this magnificent wartime hangar. Just think of the aircraft that used to be stored and worked upon in here 80 or so years back. Look at this incredible 3 Series here. Wow. Inspired by the Batmobile 3-litre CSLs, I suspect. That is a pretty incredible looking car, this. There's a wonderful old Morris J2, again, just like that Bedford CA, converted for foodie retailing. What a great thing. Not many of these Morrises about. There was the Austin 152 and this, the Morris J2, sold alongside each other, rivals back in the day, despite being built by the same company. And the only real difference was the front panel. The grille was slightly different on the Austin 152. So there we go, folks. I think that is pretty much everything to see here today at the Bicester Scramble October 2025 edition. It's been a great gathering. Quite a few cars, like I say, disappear quite early, so it makes it kind of difficult to film and have a look at everything that did turn up here today. So if I missed out your favourite car, well, I apologise for that. But thank you so much for watching this particular video. Loads more videos will be coming along very, very soon. So bye for now.
Tiffany Dale's driving.
Chipping North.